All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our monthly webinar series, Revenue Rescue. We created this webinar series to create a discussion around key trends that we're seeing today in the automotive industry. And within each of the calls, our goal is that, everyone is able to take away some type of key learning to help improve customer satisfaction and drive revenue growth. So today's call is going to focus on recalls and the opportunities that recalls create for dealerships to re-engage with both their loyal and their lost customers. So let's get started. I'll introduce everyone to Lee Coleris. Lee is an industry expert when it comes to developing and executing a recall strategy, both at the manufacturer and the dealership level. So Lee, I'll let you take it from here.
Well, thank you, Kevin. It's certainly great to be here with you guys today and talk about recalls. As Kevin stated, my name is Lee Coleris, and I have been in the automotive marketing for over 13 years, both on the agency side and from the dealership side of the business. And event marketing has certainly been a mainstay on both fronts because, for better or worse, event marketing is part of our industry culture. From 10 events to end-of-the-year events, consumers rally around the atmosphere created around those specials. So there are those dealerships and OEMs who embrace the events, and then there's those who just use them as needed for revenue pushes at the right time of year. When we really, at Affinitiv, as Affinitiv, where we work with over 5,000 dealerships a day on a day in and day out basis across 16 OEMs, we've been a part of a wide array of events. But we're more than a marketing company. We're a technology company. And we utilize custom technology to synergize the deployment of the event messaging across multiple channels. But more importantly, we track the conversion of those channels by individuals. And it's the evolution of this technology-based strategy that has really provided us with the interesting anomalies of recall marketing that we wanted to share with you today. If we look at understanding that we've had years of experience, just like you, in sales marketing, service marketing, and even wholesale events. And now we're adding recall marketing, which is truly a new space for all of us because up until recently, the OEMs never wanted the dealerships or third-party marketing companies to actively pursue recalls. They wanted to handle it internally. We had a little technical difficulty there. And the reason why recalls have been so popular is because today, 1 out of 5 vehicles on the road are under recall. In 2018, we've already had 46 million recalls, and it's not just the Takata airbags. There are millions around cruise control issues, loose steering wheels, transmission shifters, over 7 million even outside of Takata alone. So that has put a huge burden on the OEMs and now you to complete these services. And as you know, manufacturers are responsible for notifying owners by first-class mail within 16 days of notifying NHTSA, which then puts NHTSA in that monitoring mode of the OEMs, according to federal regulations. So with the volume of recalls out there today, the stress of completion utilizing just that first-class mail has resulted in less than optimal completion numbers across the board. And it's simply just an average of about 75% completion rate between new and older vehicles. So this is where OEMs are looking to their preferred service marketing companies and dealerships to help. And this is where we want to discuss the value of multi-channel marketing. You have to think outside the box with recall marketing. As I said earlier, we've learned that recall marketing is an anomaly. if it weren't, none of us would be compelled to open this type of discussion. Consumers, despite the warnings, are just not coming in. And it could simply be the fact that consumers are not listening in that first-class mail channel as readily as they used to. We have to put critical messages in the channel of choice for consumers. And with the ability to use these channels on a one-to-one basis, especially social media, we're seeing a 5 times better response rate when we deliver that message across all channels. Now, there are 4 keys to success with recall events. Number 1, and most important, is setting the right expectation for you. Attendance expectation must be realistic. Event with all the planning and channel strategy, there is a reason why we're in this space, and it's because those consumers are not coming in on their own. And even with the unusually strong "you may die" stance OEMs are using today on their recall notices, they're still not coming in. So we have to set the expectations around attendance accordingly. The channel options, which are available to all of us now, is that ability to deliver the one-to-one message in all the digital channels. And it's essential that dealerships employ these tactics. Now, we've found great success in social. We do have the ability to deliver a one-to-one message directly to the consumer in their social newsfeed. So, for instance, I'm Lee Kuleros, and my QX50 has a recall. Our company can deliver that recall message into my newsfeed so no one else sees it, because it's not a typical Facebook ad. It's a message. And the same within Instagram. And if you have any questions on this type of delivery, please feel free to reach out after the webinar and we can answer more of those questions offline. The other aspect is, do you have the ability to create mobile events? Do you have a secondary method of collecting vehicles in support of the OEMs, or with the support of the OEMs? We see a lot of OEMs that are using valet services and even sending texts out to people's homes in order to complete these recalls. So if you have that ability, or you have support with the OEM to create this program, we highly recommend that this is an avenue that you go down. Also understand that the reason folks don't come in is because typically it's not convenient, or it's not even comfortable for them. So how do you add those amenities to your messaging to ensure that the consumers won't be as inconvenienced as they may think they are, and that they'll be as comfortable as they will by stating how long it will take to complete the service? What type of amenities do you have? Do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have refreshments? All of those type of amenities should be added to your invitations or to your communications to your consumers. For us, we have found a strong cadence for success using a multi-channel, and I'll kind of go through that with you here this afternoon. When we deliver the email, or when we deliver the hard copy mail, we want the hard copy mail to show up in the homes about 10 days before the event date. Then we release the emails. We release an email once, right at the same time we want to drop our direct mail for a save the date. So the email will get there first, the save the date email will get there first, and then the direct mail will come. And about 3 days after the direct mail has hit the home, we'll release another email to enhance that mail delivery and encourage scheduling digitally and online. The other aspect that we feel is essential to success in this cadence is our phone calls from a live BDC. So we have a BDC reach out and make the calls to try to schedule the consumers on the phone. The FCC does not regulate recall phone calls like they would any other type of phone call communication, such as only allowed to communicate with your customers 0 to 18 months from their last service date, as long as there is no offer in the recall appointment message. It has to be an informative call, just information only, and to schedule. There can't be an offer tied to it. Then we start layering in the social media with Facebook and Instagram messaging. And we also target display ads directly to the home. So therefore, we can channel a direct mail piece to my home address. So I receive a hard mail copy to my home. I receive an email, and then I'm going to start seeing display ads on my within my home on my mobile and phone whenever it's hooked up to our Wi-Fi. Choosing the right audience comes down to data, and the data is usually provided by the OEM. So splitting the data, once you get it into the loyalty or your current customers and then lost customers, allows you to craft different messages. Now, some OEMs do not allow offers on their recall invitations, and some do. When they do allow messages and offers, we are seeing that 52% of consumers say they would actually come in if the repairs were bundled with another service. 51% will come in for a recall if it came with a free oil service. So keep in mind that but statistically, 37% of folks have said that they don't have alternate transportation. So if you can add in shuttles or alternate means of transport, whether it's pickup and delivery, will definitely increase your response rates. So how do we measure success? Again, we'll go back to the expectations and understanding that the average response time is 45 to 90 days after the event. This means an after-event marketing strategy is critical to completion rate. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it can be an always-on digital strategy to those who don't come in. And it's truly an opportunity to recapture these customers that have abandoned the dealership. So, highlight. Maybe a little difficult to read on your screen, but what we want to point out is that the average appointment rate was over 2% on the day of the event. However, take a look at the before and after numbers. And those after numbers are 45 days after the event. These are significant in measuring overall success. The counter, the counter can't stop on the day of the event. The other statistics worth reviewing here are the average repair orders. In general, for these manufacturers represented, the average RO was about $335. For recalls, it was doubled. And for those of you that have done recalls events, we know you're seeing the same type of numbers. This is a great revenue opportunity with these events, especially if we clearly understand that the ROI cannot be calculated on just the day of the event. It has to be considered in the both before and after numbers. We hope that this has allowed us to start a great conversation on recall marketing and discussing especially the multi-channel approach. We'll talk more about social media on our next episode of Eliminating the Guesswork. So please save the date on Wednesday, September 26th. And if you have any questions, please email or reach out to us with the numbers provided. We are happy to answer any conversations. So thank you for joining us.